I'm having a field day today. So I thought I was recording this whole time, and it turns out I wasn't. So it's kind of a win-win because it means we're going to progress a lot more forward today, which I guess is good. But at the same time, it's annoying because I've just wasted 20 minutes. Well, not wasted, still did shit, but I've just spent 20 minutes speaking to people that weren't even there. So yeah, there you go. That's what I get. So I cheated on you guys a little bit yesterday. I went through and just had a bit of a private listen to the low end, just what I'd done yesterday, and just kind of went in again on that just a little bit more, just so we had a little bit more of that covered today. So I wasn't dicking around and spending too much time on it. And basically what I have done is I made a rumble as well from the same kick layer. So here you go. You guys can screenshot that as a bit of an understanding. I don't do it like this all the time. It always varies. Some kicks require different reverbs, all that kind of stuff. But I find that the chain is pretty similar in terms of the order. I'll always have a reverb, run it through a bit of distortion, and then run it through a filter. And then, as you can see here, I've got the filter on a bit of a different setting. It's cool with the Ableton filter because you can add a bit of drive or you can add a bit of distortion depending on the settings. So it's always really cool. So I'll play this quickly with and without the drive so you can hear what it sounds like. But yeah, it adds a lot of fullness and character. But sometimes it's a bad thing. You can overdo it too. So I always kind of don't go too nuts with it. I always just do a little bit. Less is more. So this is with no drive. And then this is what the drive does. Which I guess a lot of people would be like, oh my God, like it's adding a lot of volume, but it's also giving it a bit of saturation and coloring and stuff as well, like the overdrive does. So there you go. That's my secret rumble chain released to the world. So enjoy. So I basically printed that and I'll put the filter on the whole bus so you can have a listen. What I've done. Basically what I've done is, the reason why I did it is when I solo everything, I'll turn the rumble off so you can hear it. It's not bad, but we're just missing a bit of drive and oomph, especially in kind of the stereo field as well. I like to try and utilize the whole stereo range with the low end. A lot of people would frown upon that and go, oh my God, you need to be in mono. But when it comes to actually mixing all these elements and layers later on, I'll get into that, how you can kind of make a bit of separation and make it work. And sometimes it doesn't work, but the good thing about this is, it's like cooking. You're gonna grab all the ingredients out of the kitchen before you make a dish. So it's like sometimes it's better just to have it in the song, make it sound the way that you want it as you're writing it to keep the passion and the motivation there, and then pull it out later on if you need to. Sometimes it's better just to have things like this to keep you excited. Otherwise, you go, oh, the line doesn't sound good, which I do all the time. And it kind of deters me from wanting to smash out the rest of the song. So there you go. That's my rant for the day. So this is without it. Doesn't sound bad at all. Like it sounds perfect nearly, but you will hear a difference when I bring this in. I'm actually going to turn it back up just a little bit so you can really hear the difference. I'll put it back down to -16, but I just want you guys to hear what it's actually doing. Ready? So see how it's like, I've turned it down a lot, so it's not really prominent. It's adding that mid-side information, but it feels like it's giving the low end a lot more warmth and depth that this should be having, but it doesn't have because, you've really got to kind of get into the habit of layering these things. But I also know I'm going to get crucified because I've got a sub, the acid, even though the acid's got the low end cut out of it, as you can see here. We're more or less creating a bit more movement and momentum and fullness in the low end of the range. So it sounds a bit nicer with it. But yes, I've still got to create spacing between the sub, the rumble, and that delay. But at the same time, it sounds effing awesome at the moment. So we're going to keep it the way that it is for the writing stage, and then I can come back to all that stuff later on. So that's the low end now. Big chunky boy, so very good. That's what we want. So unfortunately I've done a little bit more, but nothing too major. I actually grabbed a kilohertz filter and I've just created a high pass, 120 hertz thereabouts, doesn't really matter. Just find between 100 to 150. You're just rolling the lows out for these little intro sections and stuff. So I just literally, to make life easier, as you can see, I've just automated the device on and off, and that's just going to give us the result that we want. I'm going to turn these off, the sounds that I added, because it's the next section that I want to get to. I don't want to give too much away yet, but yeah, this is pretty much what the filter's doing, so you can have a listen. We've got an intro, and then low end, bang. And the hat comes in, so it kind of adds that, okay, the next layer is coming, and this will keep you excited and listening, and we're slowly progressing from here. So what I actually added was I'm looking for pads or atmospheres, so more theming elements for the song to give it a bit more cinematic depth in terms of like the brooding atmospheres is the best way to describe it. It's something that, you know, people who know me know how much I love doing them in my songs and giving it a bit of a theme and a bit of a purpose. I find that songs that don't really have them could use them maybe, but yeah, I don't know, each to their own. So I've actually used Ableton's Drift for this, and as you can see in the pads, I've used the Awakening pad and what's the other one? VHS Dreams. There was a sound I heard before that was more of like a where is it? Like that's good, but not bad. Really good. Great. So things like respaces and those kinds of sounds, a lot of people that I teach and a lot of people that I've heard do a lot of kind of respaces in the background, and I guess that's, you know, each to their own, but I find that respaces have a specific sound and they don't kind of give it that that depth, you know, of I guess filling out the whole spectrum in terms of like a bit of a high range element, a bit of a mid range element, and then obviously you're scooping the lows out, but it still feels like there's a bit of fullness in the sound. So as you can see, I've just literally scooped the lows out. This one's got a resonant frequency here. It's really prominent around this kind of range. So I've just, as you can hear, I've scooped it out quite a bit. I'm just going to go -8 though, because when I listened in context, it needs to be in there a little bit. Otherwise it takes away too much of the characteristic of the sound. As you can hear, so sometimes you need them, you know, and I'll probably end up changing this, but I'll leave it for now. And then the other one that I added has some really cool little features in here that I'm going to automate too. So it's got different settings. Pan amount, so I can automate all that, give it a bit of movement, and make it a bit more exciting and not so staticky sounding, so still. And then both of these together, I'll just play it from where he comes in. But as I was saying before, which I missed, which really sucked, is I love layering these, because then you can make them come in at different times. You can process them differently. You make them sit in different spots of the stereo field so they're not clashing with one another. Space them apart, but we'll get to that in the mixing stage later on. And it just gives it more tonality and more depth, you know, and you can, yeah, make certain transitions in certain parts more exciting by adding more layers of these and other elements as well. So yeah, we'll get to all that stuff. But here you go, just so you can hear it in context, like what it's actually doing when this second layer comes in, compared to just running through the intro where it's a bit more stripped back and easy for someone to mix in a set. So yeah. Yeah, what I'm going to do just to make life a bit easier, I'm just going to group these two together for now. And I am going to slap a kickstart on there just to give us a bit of side chain. We don't want that pumping effect because these are more of like a high layer. They're going to be mixed really low to sit over the kick and the base. So somewhere around here should be pretty good. And then I was creating like a bit of a bass element or a swell, I would call it, or like a Brahm sound. Brahm, like a wow, something that kind of like opens up and shuts real quick. They always sound really cool to give it that nice little, almost like a trailer or cinematic effect to get into the next transition instead of I was saying before, but obviously no one could hear me. I'm not ridiculously reliant on effect samples in terms of like, you know, lifters, sweeps, all that kind of stuff. I just find that, you know, the more organic approach is always better. I tend to think of them as like processed foods pretty much, you know. You enjoy them every once in a while and they're cool, but they're very overused and not ridiculously creative. They're great for certain transitions. You know, if you've got a build up and you want that big sweep coming up under the snares and whatnot, awesome. You know what I mean? But I think definitely try and get creative and make the transitions as organic and natural sounding as you possibly can. And I think you'll be blown away with how simple it is and how good a results you can get that really stand out too. So yeah, that's my 2 cents worth for the day. But okay, let's have a look at this. Even just with this, I'll just play this one. It's not great. I've just sent a return channel to it too, which I'll get into later on, but I've just got a big reverb chain set up. But just have a listen to how this sounds in context. So what I would do, even same again, have it come up from nothing. See? Perfect. Like that's really not bad. It can do for now, and it's just that little thing, you know. And if you want to be cool and quirky, like a lot of people are doing, you can have that kind of going into this kick drum here. You can bring all the song forward when it's done later on, and have this as like a wow, bang, bang, bang into the kick, whatever. A lot of people love doing that kind of stuff as well. So it's a multi-use thing that, yeah, simply works. But anyway, I'll leave that one there for now because it's kind of cool. And let's see what else we can do. Now, to be really cool and quick, I'm just going to use operator because I love operator, and I just really feel like mucking around and seeing what little bass shot I can concoct up today. So let's have a look. Operator's awesome because it's Ableton's native FM synth. So much fun to fuck around with. Now, I've actually watched a few things on this recently where I've like tried to understand it because it's easier to dive into it knowing what actually goes on, but it's a weird little plugin, so it works almost from the ground up. So this layer gets fed into this layer, or sorry, this is the base layer, and then this one gets triggered by that one, or vice versa. So it's like if you watch. When I bring this up, I'll go fixed level and then I go coarse up. You'll hear the FM start to happen. Already we're getting that kind of dub sound. Control the envelope, but I want it in D. Put it there maybe. That one there, very generic pattern, I know, but it always sounds cool. Whoop. And that one's too close, it's got to go there. And I'll fix that up, join. Or let's just join it the whole length so it's easier, and that way you can just bang, bang, bang. Oh, still not in the right spot. What are you doing today, mate? That's better. Ah! I want to duplicate the MIDI clip, not the note, you spazzo. All right, so... So as you can hear, you can really understand what it's doing. So it's just giving us that FM sound. I'll go, and then maybe I'll make this one. Perfect, giving us a bit of attack. And I'll make that really. So all these different ones have different envelopes, as you can see. So, and then you can actually right click, and then I go copy envelope from oscillator. Oh, I'm losing my mind right now. This is A. Why is this not working? Oh, I'll just go copy oscillator, all others. There we go. And that can go back down. I've just ruined the whole sound. Oh my God, it's all good. So 3, let's go 5. And then that can go a bit quicker. That can just be like a transient kind of layer. And this one can be down as well. And there we go. That'll do it for now. Maybe a bit of variation, bit of a change up there, just so it's not so repetitive. So what I'm going to do now is now that we've kind of established all of that, I'm really going to start working on this build. The other thing that I want to do as well is start automating the group with the utility to control this, because I want no volume through there. I just want a hard cut of all volume. And then these can gradually come up, so even a little bit lower, and that can come down somewhere like this. And this is just a quick, easy way to get everything running the way that you want. So it's really coming up from nothing, somewhere around there. Now I want to use that same filter on the low end just to cut all the bass out. But what I'm going to do, I had a bit of an idea for this one. What I do want to do is something a little bit different. And I actually want to create, I'm just going to leave that there like that because I'm automating the filter now as well. I want to create a bit of a different way. It's very common just to put a high pass on it and have it sitting in the background, but I want it kind of filtering in a weird way as well. Try and mix it up a little bit and break the cycle of the norm. So let's go filter as well. So instantly what I've noticed here is I almost want, and this is where it's like awesome just doing stuff like this. I just want to copy that filter automation, sorry, the utility automation literally again. I'll just have that coming down. I want those atmospheres building up through the drop, so we're not creating any confusion. Put on that. I just want that to kind of brood up again. So it's almost like I always find every song is the same automation with these. I'm like ramping it up and then it like starts again. And then I'm ramping it up and it starts again. Like every time it's the same thing. So there you go. But oh my God, we are nearly out of time. We've got 8 seconds left. So we'll work more on this build and add a bit more tension and stuff tomorrow. But yeah, at least that's a mad extra bit of knowledge for you guys today. Just understanding a bit more about like adding atmospheres and textures and giving the song a bit more depth in the background, because it's really important just filling it out in those ways. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Like, comment, subscribe, and same time, same place tomorrow. Let's do it.